Grant Norsworthy joins us on the show today. Now, Grant is a professional musician, originally from Australia, lived in America for many years, working as a professional musician in the Christian contemporary musician area, Grammy-nominated, done extensive touring with bands, Paul Coleman Trio and Sonic Flood. Now lives in New Zealand and working as a music mentor and is with churches around New Zealand and joins us on the program. Morena, welcome to the program, Grant.
Thank you, Lizzie. Thanks for having me.
Hey,
wow, it's a bit overwhelming to hear all that spoken like that.
Yeah, and it's probably only part of what you've done, right? Like intros, there's all those other important things like you're a dad and all those.
Yeah, three boys and wife and all that good stuff. But no, it's good to be talking to you.
You too. Hey, so last time we caught up a few years ago now, you produced the New Zealand version, so beautiful, of The Blessing. How many years ago was that?
Yeah. That was 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, so
right.
Time flies. But I had a bunch of engagements booked. I was actually planning to go back to America in 2020, but then COVID happened, and so none of those trips were going to happen. And I just heard this amazing choir from all around the world in response to COVID, people recording these virtual choir videos for The Blessing, that song that came out of the United States. And I just thought New Zealand, my new home country, I'd only been living in New Zealand for about 2 years, no less than that. At that point, they thought, man, New Zealand should be in this choir. So, we put together The Blessing Aotearoa New Zealand back in 2020.
Yeah, and one of the people you had on there, Julia Grace, she's somebody that we have on our show quite a lot. So
she's become a friend too, Julia. She was a friend before we did that. But we've got Phil Joel on there. We got the Shades on there, like a whole lot of wonderful people, and a whole lot of people who your viewers and listeners may not recognize as well.
Yeah, no, it was wonderful. And so that you hadn't been in New Zealand long, but now you've been here a bit longer. Are you feeling more like a Kiwi or just an Australian living in New Zealand?
I definitely feel at home. This is a beautiful place to be. And, this is a cliche, I know, but happy wife, happy life. I married a Kiwi girl. We live in Upper Moutere with her parents, my parents-in-law, 2 minutes down the road. Great support for raising our three boys. It's great to be here. And I travel a lot for my work, so it's good to have that support when I'm on the road.
Yeah, tell us about your work, Grant.
Well, I'm not a career musician anymore. You said I'm a professional musician, but, I actually hung up my bass guitar, decided to not try to be that, the main person on the platform. And I just found myself really compelled to, I guess, help the church. I love the church. I'm a follower of Jesus. And I see music being used in pretty much every church service I've ever been to, right? There's music involved. And I would say that we in the Christian church highly value music. I mean, a lot of people love music. They like music. But we in the Christian church, not only does the Bible tell us to use music when we gather and sing together, we actually believe this is a way of worshiping God. We believe that as we have music in our gatherings, there's something of the divine that can touch humanity a little deeper when music's involved. So I'm passionate about that too. Your listeners might agree with that, but I'm actually seeing, I don't know, a lot of churches struggling. I don't know whether you've noticed this or not, but it seems to me that a lot of regular church congregations are struggling to sing along with the musicians who are leading them in this sung expression of worship. So More Than Music Mentor is part of what I do now. I do these training workshops and I've got some online training that I can do. I do Zoom calls and there's articles and there's training videos, but I love getting into a room with a church's amateur level volunteer, usually singers, instrumentalists and technicians of any church, any size, and helping them use music more effectively to really get the congregation engaged.
That sounds good. What are some of the common things that you find when you're working with these group of musicians? There must be common themes of things that people struggle with.
Yeah. Well, I'd put it down to this. We've got we have a church congregation. Maybe your congregation's 5 people. Maybe it's 500. Maybe it's 50. Maybe it's 5,000. I don't know. I'd like to think that these principles apply no matter what, and we have to recognize too, there's different flavors and styles.
Sure.
Some people want to use music to, let's say we want to sing a lot of correct doctrine in our lyrics, our song lyrics, deeper, richer poetry in it. And as we do that, we feel like our reverence for God increases. And other congregations, they would be happier to sing songs with fewer words, but they want to have an experience of God's presence, let's say.
Yeah.
So you've got to make sure we're all on the same page. You've got to know your room. So what I often see is a team on the platform misreading their room.
Okay.
And that's sort of wrapped around some confusion about, I think, what it means to worship God.
Yeah.
Different people say different things that make it really hard to understand. What do we mean? Look, I'm in a worship band. This is a worship song, I'm told, and I've told that worship starts at 10. But what are we actually trying to do?
Yeah.
In this, so people are a bit confused about, well, what is the objective? And so I'm trying to bring some clarity to all that. Yet unify us, but recognize the differences. Some people like old songs, some people like new songs, some people like wordy songs, some people like less wordy songs, more repetitive. Some people are comfortable with instrumental brackets, gaps in the song where they can be free and express themselves differently, and other people get a bit antsy when there's an instrumental passage, and it's just a matter of reading your room and serving your people more effectively.
Yeah. I've been in worship bands in the past, and you talking just reminds me of different things, like the drummer's out of time, or somebody's just, all the levels are wrong, or you're singing, you're not getting you can't hear yourself singing, like.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Those things. And like you say, even within the worship team, somebody likes this song, somebody likes that song. How do you deal with all of that?
Yeah, I call it that. Yeah, there's a lot of people tugging in different directions. I love to help people with, having a good sound check, getting in better time, being in better tune, making better choices vocally and instrumentally. But you can't really move to that side of it until you first have agreement on the wall. Why do we have music? Why is there music in this gathering? And what is the measurable outcome that we're looking for? And I like to suggest that, well, we have music because we want to worship God. Absolutely. But the Bible tells us to offer ourselves as a living sacrifice, whole and acceptable to God, and let that be your spiritual act of worship. Yeah. So gathering together and music within the gathering are important expressions of worship, but don't think that's when worship switches on and switches off. The opportunity to worship God is actually every moment of every day, right? I hope our listeners would agree with that. But something beautiful and potent can happen when we sing together.
Yeah.
So I like to think that we want our every man, woman, and child in our congregation to sing. They're not an audience. They're not a crowd. They are, in a sense, a choir. And God is the object of these songs. We want every man, woman, and child in our room singing this song as an expression of worship to God. And if we agree on that sort of observable human goal, and I say observable human goal because was God being worshipped is actually a lot harder for humans to measure. God measures whether something's worshipful or not, right?
Right.
So I suggest, look, we do want God to be worshipped, but God sees the human heart.
Yeah.
So what's our humanly observable goal? Let's get our congregation singing. And if we agree that that's our observable goal, then it gets easier to do things like, well, what sort of songs should we choose? What key should they be in? How loud should it be? How should we arrange the instrumentation? But you've got to move from the why to the what and how. Okay. Don't get that backwards.
So you guys have, you have got an event coming up for people who are in Auckland. I know you do this all around the country. Saturday, the 20th of July, out at Manukau City Baptist Church. Tell us a bit about that, Grant.
Yeah, well, I've been here for 5 years now in New Zealand. I used to do this over in the United States, this More Than Music Mentor training. And by the way, people can find out more about this from morethanmusicmentor.com. It's a bit of a mouthful, but morethanmusicmentor.com. Marketing is not my strong suit, you can tell. But I've done these workshops in Invercargill and Christchurch and Dunedin and New Plymouth and Palmerston North and Hamilton. But I've sort of held back on Auckland because it's such a big city, and I just wanted to,
scared of us?
Just gotta work. Auckland's its own country in a lot of ways. I'm really pleased to be partnering with Manukau City Baptist Church, July 20th. It's what I call a core content session. Okay. It's like full day Saturday, like 9 a.m. through till 3:30. And you can contact admin@citybaptist.org.nz to find out about that. That's admin@citybaptist.org.nz, or you can call Manukau City Baptist and register your interest in coming. They'd be happy to answer your questions. And we're going to come along. It doesn't matter whether you're old, young, whether you're Presbyterian or Pentecostal, Baptist or Anglican. It's very much core content. I'll be speaking in a way that I hope and I believe helps us realize that there are differences between how we use music to express the worth of God and those differences are okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. So come along to that. So this is my first foray into Auckland properly of doing this More Than Music mentor work, and I'm super excited about it.
That's awesome. So the website to check it out, morethanmusicmentor.com, morethanmusicmentor.com. Grant Norsworthy, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Lizzie.
Thanks for joining us today. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you can catch all our interviews on Star. See you next time.